Welcome. Hi, guys. So let's see. I might just give it a second or two here to see if anyone else comes in. But while we're waiting, this is the new moon in Pisces. It's actually tomorrow, but it's going to be a lovely new moon. It's one of my favorite signs to have any type of like moon event, whether it's a new moon or a full moon in. So what you're going to need is a journal, anything to write with. And if you don't have a journal, then just any piece of paper is fine. But those are the two main things that you're going to need. And if you don't have them, you can grab them. But other than that, just whatever other things you want to use, such as sage or candles or anything that helps you set the mood. I have some sage here that I was burning earlier. I also have my hanging plant, so you might be able to see that kind of come into view over here. But anything that you want to kind of set the mood for yourself. If you're into crystals, some good ones to work with for Pisces season is amethyst. So I've got a big chunk of amethyst here. You can also use like aquamarine or moonstone. Those are all great options as well. So I know we have a few more people coming in, so I'm just going to give it a second or two. So yeah, gather your things, make yourself comfortable, and we'll get started soon. Okay, a few more people trickling in here. All right, so for those of you that just showed up, try to keep yourselves on mute until we get to the sharing portion. Of course, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask me. I don't have a problem with that. And, you know, just gathering what you need. So a journal or a piece of paper, something to write with, and then anything else that you want to work with, like crystals or sage or candles or plants, whatever kind of floats your boat for that part. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today, or actually tomorrow, is going to be the new moon in Pisces, March 2nd. Again, like I said before, this is one of my favorite signs to work with. I just love the Pisces like archetype. So let me just double check that this is changing for you guys. It is. Okay, so for those of you who have not been here before, what we're doing is called a moon circle. And really what a moon circle is it's using the moon to kind of influence how we live our lives. So we're working with the new moon today, and the new moon is the start of a lunar calendar. It is also when the moon is between the earth and the sun. So this is like, you're not going to see it in the sky. It's going to be a dark sky. But how we use it is we use it as the beginning of a new personal cycle. So because it's the new, like the start of this lunar calendar, we can use it to manifest things, turn over a new leaf, start new projects, that kind of stuff. That way you're living your life more in tuned with nature and the moon cycles around you. So for those of you who have not participated in these before, here's just a little agenda of kind of what we're going to go over. So really, we're going to talk about the astrology of what's going on right now, what it means to have a new moon in Pisces. We'll be going over some horoscopes. We'll talk about some action steps, ways that you can really bring in this Pisces energy into your life over the next few days. We'll pull a tarot card. Then we'll do a little bit of journaling. If anyone wants to share, they can share. And we'll just end with a little bit of a closing meditation. It's not going to be too long today, but just a little bit of deep breathing and grounding so that we can kind of put everything all together. So what you're going to need is, like I said, journal, piece of paper, something to write on, something to write with, and then of course any crystals, sage, candles, incense that you want to work with. So if anybody has, and I forgot to change this over here, I'm sorry guys, it's still for Aquarius season, but any crystals would be, you know, aquamarine is great, moonstone's great, amethyst is great for Pisces season as well. So go ahead and grab those things. And once I see everyone's back, we'll get started in a second. Okay. So for this new moon in Pisces, it is tomorrow at 12:35 p.m. Eastern time. And Pisces is like this very dreamy astrological sign. That's the best word to explain it. So this new moon, the themes around it, since it is in Pisces, includes like fantasy, intuition, healing, the subconscious, the dream realm, anything like magic, art, spirituality related. It's a water sign, so I always think of it as this like fluid, dreamy type of energy, which I just love. There's a very warm and optimistic energy with this new moon because of how it aligns with Jupiter. So there's going to be Jupiter is like the planet of abundance. So you might feel extra generous. You might see people being really generous to you, which would be great as well. But you'll have that energy kind of along with this new moon. You might also feel a bit of extra support for any changes that you want to make during this time. It's a very supportive energy that we have. So, it's a really good time to start to put down like the building blocks of any changes that you want to make. And then we are integrating a lot of deep healing during this time. So you can use this new moon as a time of reflection, which is a little bit different. Normally we talk about reflection or like, what's the word that I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now, but kind of like thinking back, reflecting on it is usually what we do during the full moon. But during this new moon, because it is in the final astrological sign, Pisces is the last astrological sign, we are kind of reflecting over what we've learned the past 12 months, the past year. So it's a good time to replenish. It's a good time to reflect and integrate all that we've learned. We are going to be entering, Aries, which is the first astrological sign next month. So this is really a good time to think about how what you've gone through over the past 12 months and how you want to come into Aries, because Aries is a very fiery sign. So it's a good time to think about how you want to come into that and integrate what you've learned so that you have a little bit more closure and compassion as we go into that fiery sign of Aries in the next 4 weeks. So Jupiter is also in Pisces right now. And like I said, Jupiter is really about like abundance. It's also about expanding our thinking. So you might have this sense of like hope and romance in your life over the next few days, which is a lovely energy. I love working with that type of energy. Pisces also dissolves boundaries. So you might feel this separation from your ego and kind of like this drive to connect with not only yourself, those around you, but also like the world and nature in general. You might feel more in tuned with the world around you at this time. You might feel more like aware, especially self-aware, which is pretty cool. If you notice the way that I kind of describe this Pisces energy, it's a lot of watery associated words, like use this new moon to plunge into old feelings. You're diving deep. There's a reason for that. It's because Pisces is such a watery sign. And really like that's the best way to explain, what we're doing and what it's asking you to do. So again, use this moon to plunge deep into your feelings, allow those feelings to wash over you, kind of bask in that relief that you feel when you stop resisting them. I like to think of this if you've ever like just been so like sad or upset and like you want to cry, but you're holding it back and you're not in a situation where you can cry. And then finally, when you get home and you're in your room by yourself and you cry, like how good that can feel sometimes. That's kind of like the feeling that this new moon is asking you to embrace, is just like stop resisting the feelings and let them happen, release them. It's going to feel really nice to be able to let it go. Also getting in touch with your intuition and your imagination. So really letting those take over. Does somebody have a question? I'm just gonna mute everyone. Okay, sorry. So allowing your intuition to take over and your imagination to take over. This might be like creative for you. So a lot of things that are associated with Pisces energy is like dance, poetry, music, art. So if you feel called to, express yourself in any of those ways, this is an opportune time for that. And since Pisces rules the dream realm, we'll talk about this more in the action steps, but I definitely recommend You pay attention to your dreams. Even if you're not a dreamer, you might notice over the next few days you actually remember your dreams or remember parts of your dreams. So it's a good idea to keep a dream journal. Take some notes anytime you wake up of what you remember. There might be a message in there for you. And then the last two things really with this new moon is that compassion and sympathy and acceptance are all related to the Pisces archetype. So you might feel a lot of compassion towards yourself, maybe towards others. A lot of times with water signs, it might be overwhelming, especially if you're not used to feeling all of your feelings. It's more of that like empath type of energy. So, embracing that compassion, embracing that sympathy for others, but remembering that there is too much of a good thing. And if you do go overboard with these energies, you can put yourself at risk of being manipulated or taken advantage of. So trying to hold your boundaries as best as you can. And even though, you might feel for others, not letting them take advantage of you because of that, because you're open to, helping and nurturing and having that compassion. And lastly, I already mentioned this, but the Pisces sign is the last sign in the zodiac. So really integrating, looking back through the last year, what you've learned. This is almost like I know New Year's is on, January 1st, but this is almost like the new year for the astrological season. We're really talking about like the signs here and closing out the last 12-month cycle. For astrologically speaking. So it is like a whole another new year that we're going through right now. So kind of paying attention to what you've learned, what might be coming up for you, reflecting on your experiences, and seeing where you can really step into a new place over the next 12 months. Okay. So here we are into the horoscopes, and I always recommend you check your sun sign, but also your rising sign. If you do not know your rising sign, that's okay. You can go to an online calculator. You're just going to need to know where you were born, when you were born, as in like the place, the time, and the day. So if you don't know your rising sign, go ahead and, look it up real quick. But if you do, you can, base what you're going to be going through with this new moon off of both your sun and your rising. So with Aries, this is all about healing and relaxation. This new moon is encouraging you to spend time resting and reflecting on areas of your life where you still need closure. This is important because this next new moon is going to be in the sign of Aries. So making sure that you have had that time to heal and to rest and really reflect on everything that you've gone through, so that you have like a fresh start come next month when it's in your sign. Next we have Taurus, which is community is really being highlighted. So connecting with friends, whether they're new or old. It's also a really good time to use technology to share your visions. So community in the sense of like physically being around people, but also your online based community, your virtual community, and connecting with them. Gemini, there's a focus on career and public image. So, you might be getting some recognition for hard work that you've done. This could look like a raise. It could look like a promotion. It could look like just really, praise at work for working really hard. But put attention on living your purpose. So making sure that if you're working really hard in a career, you're doing something that's worthwhile to you, that is important to you, that means something to you, because you want to have purpose behind all of that hard work. For Cancer, this new moon is highlighting adventure, new beliefs, and learning. So it's a good time to pick up a new book, explore a new place, maybe immerse yourself in learning about a new culture. I love food, so whenever this is the part of my chart is being highlighted, I like to cook a new recipe from a different culture, whether it's like Asian style or Spanish style or whatever it is. But you don't have to literally go on an adventure, like go out of your house to have an adventure, right? I know that's not doable for a lot of people all the time. So when this is being highlighted in your chart, especially for Cancers who tend to be more of like the homebody, liking their space in their home, just immerse yourself in a book or learn something new about a new culture, even without leaving your house. Next, we have Leos, and this is really shedding light on intimacy for you. So it's a good time to let go of what's no longer serving you, get in touch with your sensual side. It's also about rebirth. So who are you? Who do you want to be? Letting go of the pieces of you that you don't want to promote, and really focusing your attention on that more like intimate side of you, the side that needs to be nurtured. Remember that you are a really powerful being when you embrace your authentic self. For Virgo, we've got romance and relationships. So this is, asking the question, like, how can you deepen the love in your life, whether you're in a relationship or not? You have relationships all around you, right? Family, friends, coworkers. Also, this part of the section of your chart that's being highlighted has a lot to do with trust. And I think trust and relationships kind of go hand in hand. But examining your beliefs about trust, notice where you can build a connection with yourself and also those around you. So do you trust yourself? Do you trust those around you? And if you don't, that's something to kind of look at and maybe make some changes. You want to be able to be surrounded by people that you trust and that you can rely on, and whether that's yourself or the other people around you in your life, it's really important. So paying attention to that and what's coming up for you there. Libra, we have extra focus on our self-care and our health routines. So maybe adding in some daily tasks that will help improve your health, whether it's like a glass of warm lemon water in the morning, maybe some meditation before bed. Maybe it's just upping your skincare routine, or spending some time to get a massage or something along those lines, but really focusing on that self-care, whatever it is that you need to feel to embrace your health and feel like you're on your way to living your healthiest life. That's most important. Scorpio, we have really a lot of inner child healing. So what this can look like is, it can look like crying, it can look like screaming, it can look like playing, it can look like getting out the paints and finger painting, whatever feels right for you to embrace that inner child, embracing that creativity and reminding yourself that you're worthy of being able to embrace this inner child and have that play in your life, so that that you can heal. Play is very healing. I think we forget that a lot because we're kind of ingrained to work, make money, work, and then every once in a while have some time for play. But it's really important, in order to heal any past traumas, you actually have to go back into that, and into those ages that you were during that. So playing with your inner child and having a little bit of fun there is going to be good during this new moon. Next, we have Sagittarius. So home and family are being highlighted. This is a really good time to connect with your ancestors, both living and who have already passed on. If you have ancestors who have passed, one of my favorite things to do is it's called like free writing. So usually you'll just start and write like a letter to, for example, my pop passed away. So I can start writing to my pop, maybe asking some questions, and just letting whatever flows out of you onto the paper to flow. And sometimes you might feel a connection with them. You might notice like your handwriting change. You might even get answers to the questions that you asked. It's really cool. So looking into connecting with your ancestors, maybe if you have family that's alive still, having a nice conversation over the phone or meeting for coffee, just to be able to connect with your family. The other thing that you can do is, because home is also being highlighted, so creating just a healing space for you within your home is always really beneficial and really nice. I love, just having like my little corner with my plant over here, my little pillow, just a nice comfortable space that you feel like safe and connected to within your home can be very healing as well. For the last 3 signs, we've got Capricorn. This is all about using your voice. So whether you're literally using your voice, or you're writing, or you're singing, or you're posting on social media, really you have a message and it's your time to share it right now. So use your voice. Know that sometimes you know, what we have to say, we might not think it's that important. We might second guess ourselves, like, should I post this? Should I say this? Do people even care? But you'll be surprised, like the messages that you have can, one, sharing them can be healing for you, but it also can help heal those around you. You never know who needs to hear what you have to say. Um, so yeah, just putting your voice out there. Give me 1 sec, guys. I have a question real quick. Okay. So next we have Aquarius, which is about money and new streams of income. This is like always exciting. So, you know, you might see a raise here. You might pick up a passion that you can somehow turn into a stream of income, who knows? But it's also associated with your values and your worthiness, right? Because money isn't just a value. Money is like basically what we use to put values on things. So even if you don't have the streams of income or things like that coming in, look at where your values are. What constitutes value to you? Is it money? Is it love? Is it time? Notice how this also may affect your self-esteem. For example, if you feel like worthiness is surrounded by, you know, financial gain, and maybe you're not the wealthiest person, are you associating your worth with the amount of money that you have? Kind of noticing those things and seeing how that reflects to you. It's a really good time to make a list of all the things that you value, so that you can kind of see, you know, where are you really abundant in life? Where are you wealthy, whether it's in the terms of financially or not, but where are you wealthy in your life? And lastly, we have Pisces. So this new moon is encouraging you to just be the most authentic version of yourself. If there's parts of you that maybe you keep hidden because you're afraid others might not like you, it's a really good time to just let them shine, right? This is your new moon. This is like basically your new year. So really just being the most authentic version of yourself, radiate confidence, because this is the best version of you. We just keep getting better and better. So allowing that and knowing that, giving yourself that confidence. All right, so that is it for the horoscopes. Now we have the action steps here. So the first one is to dream. And like I said before, you know, Pisces really rules the dream realm. That's why I think I find it so fascinating. But it's a really good time to keep a dream journal. Write down your dreams in the morning if you remember them. You never know what message they might have for you. And sometimes, you know, you wake up and you're like, that was a weird dream, but you don't have a connection with how it applies to your life or your subconscious. So writing it down, and maybe you have 2 or 3 days that you remember your dreams and you write them down, and then you go back and read them. Usually you'll have this like aha moment of, oh, maybe that's what that meant. So, you know, it's always really cool to write down your dreams. You can also look up, there's a ton of like free online dream dictionary things that can help you figure out what certain things in dreams mean. So you can always look up, you know, if you remember just like a giant spider in your dream, look that up, see what it means. It could be, you know, give you some message that you've been needing to hear. And if you have a really hard time remembering your dreams, or you're just not a dreamer, then allow yourself to daydream and kind of jot down what comes up. Maybe, you know, on your break from work, set a timer for 5 minutes and just let your mind wander. See what you think about. Write down, you know, where your mind goes. Next is to use your third eye. So Pisces is very intuitive. For those of you who don't know what your third eye is, it is based on the 7 chakras. You have your third eye chakra, which is basically right in the middle of your eyebrows. And this is like your intuition. So we say that, you know, this is where you can see like past, present, future. So this is a really good place to tap into, especially if you are doing any meditation. You can do some yoga poses that actually will help stimulate the third eye chakra. The forward fold does that. I love what we did. I believe we did this at the last new moon, but you can actually take like a crystal or even just your finger, and closing your eyes, you can rub and massage that area to help stimulate your third eye. It can be very relaxing. If you're really inclined, you can work with like an energy healer who can help you activate your third eye chakra. But it's really cool to, use it to find clarity in your life, or any questions that you may have sometimes when you're doing some meditations. For me, I love yin yoga. It's like a very slow version of yoga. But I feel like that has been like my gateway to tapping into my third eye chakra and my intuition. So, you can try all different things, but I recommend, trying something. I think it'd be really beneficial and really cool to see what happens. And the last one is to imagine. So this is a really creative sign. It's a water sign. Like I said, it's that very flowy type of energy. So it's a good time to get creative, use your imagination, allow yourself to paint, dance, make music, write poetry, whatever kind of floats your boat in that aspect. But just embodying the magic that Pisces brings with it and losing yourself in the wonder of it all. It's a really cool thing when you can get lost in just creating. So whatever that looks like to you, whether it's sewing, knitting, who knows, but allowing yourself some time for that. Okay, so we're going to pull a tarot card, and the deck that I'm going to use is this Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. We've used it before for those of you that have been here. It's one of my favorite decks to use during moon cycles because it's animal energies. So I just think it's like a cool thing to ask, what animal spirit do we want to embody over the next few weeks with this new moon energy. So I'm just shuffling the cards and I'll pick one in a second. But for those of you that have never used like tarot cards before, it's something to be afraid of. They're not negative. Really, it's just a mirror for what's going on in your life and what's going on in the world. And they can give you guidance for decisions. They can help provide clarity on different situations in your life. But I like to use these ones in particular for just like the type of energy that we should focus on for the next couple of weeks. All right. Oh, we got lion energy. This is interesting. So I'm going to, wrong notebook. I'm going to pull up the line and I'll read it to you in a second. All right, so the lion is a patient, regal, a complete master. The lion is a master of the fire element and the living mascot of self-transformation. A lion personality dedicates their life to personal and spiritual growth. This dedication inspires some and intimidates others. Therefore, the lion is respected by all, but known intimately by few. Some mistake the lion as hard to assess or aloof, yet those with a keener eye know better. Lions are observant, stealth, and precise in their words and actions. They do not waste energy or resources. This card reminds us that self-mastery is available to all, no matter where our quest begins. Excuse me. This is interesting because at first, my first thought was the lion is like fire energy, which is like very much not Pisces energy. But when it talks about, really dedicating its time to like personal and spiritual growth, that's very much kind of what we're seeing with this new moon, right? It's the end of the cycle. We're really trying to grow from the past year, and it's very spiritually oriented, very like intuitively oriented, and I think that's really beautiful. Does anyone have any questions on this card? No. If you do, and I move on, just type it in the chat or unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, so now we're on to the journal portion. So the first part, I'm going to set a timer for us, so you don't get started right this second. But if you have a journal, take it out. If you just have paper, that's fine. Take that out as well. Take out something to write with. And the first part of this, we're going to do 2 5-minute journal sessions. The first part is poetry. So even if you're not a poet, trust me, I am not a poet. I did very bad in English in school, so poetry is not my thing, but we're gonna try it because we want to stimulate that like flowy, dreamy, creative side of this Pisces archetype. So with this poetry, you're going to have 5 minutes. And honestly, you can write kind of whatever comes to mind. You can think about pieces of your life where you feel like things are flowing really well, maybe places where things are not flowing really well. Use that as inspiration. You can also choose, to write like a specific type of poetry. Like if you love haikus, the 5-7-5 rule, you can do that. Or if like other types of poetry, I don't really know any others because I'm not good at poetry. But if you want to rhyme, you can rhyme. If you don't want to rhyme, that's fine. But really we're going to take the next 5 minutes and just see what comes out. Try your hand at a poem. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer. I'm also going to mute myself while we are all writing so that I don't distract anyone. And then after the 5 minutes is up, I will let you know. So you can go ahead and get started. I love this. Um, I want to jump in the deep water. I'm afraid of the rapids and falls. I'm ready to get my feet wet. I know I have the balls. I love that. Awesome. Great poem. Thank you again for sharing. I love that poem. Cool. If anyone else wants to share, you can go ahead and type it in the chat. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna review what the next journal prompt is. So next, we're going to take 5 minutes to manifest because it is a new moon and we definitely want to manifest, especially since it's the last new moon of this like lunar cycle that we've been talking about. So when we talk about manifesting, we don't want to go too big. You don't need to manifest 100 things at once. I like to say between 3 and 5 things. If you just have one big thing that you want to manifest, that's fine to write about 2. But we're going to spend 5 minutes. And the questions that I have here are just optional for you just to kind of stimulate your brain. But, you can really write however you want to. And when we are manifesting, I love writing it as if you already have it. So for example, if you're trying to manifest like a new job that makes X amount of dollars a year, you can say, I have X job that makes X amount of dollars per year. Sometimes I will write, thank you for X job that makes me X amount of dollars this year, as if I already have it. And saying thank you kind of brings in that gratitude piece as well. So write it in the present tense, whatever feels best for you. If you want to write it as like a thank you or writing it that you already have it. But pick between 3 and 5 things that you really want to accomplish over the next moon cycle. If you are looking more long-term, that's fine. Look at like your long-term dreams, because again, Pisces rules dreams. So it's okay to go long-term for this as well. What you're really working towards accomplishing. And another just little prompt to consider is where you can step out of a place of fear and into a place of faith. So Pisces is all about, letting go of those boundaries, kind of diving right into it, right? Water themed. So kind of looking at that and seeing what that stimulates for you. So I'm going to go ahead and set another timer. I'm going to mute myself again, and you guys can go ahead and get started writing. Okay, so finish up your last sentence or two. And if anyone would like to share anything that they would like to manifest over, the next moon cycle or the next year or so, you can go ahead. You can type it in the chat. You can unmute yourself. If anyone wants to share that, you're more than welcome to. If not, that's okay. Okay, so if anyone wants to share, feel free to just interrupt me. But we're gonna just spend the next, couple of minutes. Oh, here we go. I have a question in the chat. Should we pay attention to the wisdom for our rising and moon? It's interesting because for my sign, it reads to have adventures, but then for my moon, the advice is to turn within. It's your sun sign and your rising sign. That is, those are the two most important. So the sun and the rising. And sometimes it might feel like it has like polar opposites, but it's your sun and your rising. So you want to just pay more attention to, usually I say the rising sign tends to be a little bit more accurate. But your sun sign is important as well. So looking at those two. Does that help? Hopefully. Okay, so if anyone else has any more questions or wants to share anything, feel free to put it in the chat or just unmute yourself and ask. So other than that, we're going to do a little bit of a grounding meditation, because with Pisces energy, it's really easy to get super swept up in like that flowy energy that I kind of talked about so much, that dreamy energy. So what I would like for everyone to do is take a minute to get into a comfortable position. If you want to lay down, you can lay down. If you want your cameras off, you can turn them off. That's fine. Or you can sit, and I want our palms to be facing down. So if you put your palms on your lap, you can put them on your knees. You can put them just, on your legs or in your lap, but have your palms facing down. If you're laying down, you can put them on the ground next to you. And just close your eyes for a sec and turn your attention towards your breathing. So not changing anything about your breathing, just turning your attention to it, seeing if you can feel the air at the tip of your nose going in and out. Maybe you can feel your chest rise and fall. Just take a moment to turn your attention within. So we talked about our third eye chakra and the importance of connecting to our intuition. So I want everyone to try to focus your mind's eye on that third eye chakra. So that space in between your eyebrows, kind of in the center of your two eyes. See if you can turn your attention there and almost hold that gaze, that inward gaze on your third eye. As you hold your attention here, loosen any tightness in your brow, any tightness in your jaw. You can send breath to any areas of your face where maybe you're holding tension, if you're squinting, if you have your jaw clenched, your teeth clenched. Just release any tension. Now picture a bright light. This could be any color. Maybe it's white, maybe it's like a purpley color. But picture this light at your third eye. And as this light comes in through your third eye chakra, maybe you see it pulsing or getting brighter. Maybe it's spinning or even changing colors. But picture this light coming in and activating that third eye chakra. Maybe you even feel that space between your eyes getting a little bit warmer as this light comes through. Sending this energy from your third eye, we're going to send it down into our heart chakra. So picture this light connecting now your third eye to your heart. Maybe you can feel the warmth trickling down from your third eye, down through your throat chakra, all the way into your heart chakra, getting vibrant, sending this powerful energy back and forth from your heart to your third eye, from your third eye to your heart. Really activating these chakras. Now from your heart, this energy is flowing down. It's going to flow into our arms, all the way down the length of our arms, over our shoulders, passing our elbow, all the way into our wrists, into the palms of our hands. And this is going to ground us down. So as this energy comes through the palms of our hands, feel it connecting with the earth beneath you. Maybe it's through your legs, through the earth beneath you if you're sitting. Maybe it's just straight to the earth if you're laying down. But connecting this energy to the earth, really grounding yourself down. And just taking a few moments here to feel your connection to the world around you, to the divine from above, through your third eye chakra, opening up your heart chakra, embracing all the love to come in and the love that you have to give to come out. And grounding down to feel supported. And from here, we're just going to take a few deep breaths in through your nose. Maybe pausing at the top to hold it for a second or two. And just letting it out through your mouth. Doing it one more time in through your nose. And again, out through your mouth, releasing any tension, any worries. And one last time, a nice deep breath in through your nose. And releasing again out through your mouth. Taking a moment here to just embrace yourself with this energy that you kind of stimulated your chakras with, allowing you to feel that buzz from that energy, but also to feel grounded down and connected to nature. And when you feel comfortable, you can softly open your eyes and take a moment to just thank yourself for being here and for doing this for yourself, for for everyone that's here, being a presence in the circle, and for working with the moon, connecting with the world around you, nature around you. So thank you all for that. Thank you for being here. And if anyone has any questions, if anyone wants to share anything before we end, feel free to unmute yourself or quickly type it in the chat if you'd like. I have my website as well as my Instagram on here, but I am actually not on Instagram right now. So if you want to connect with me, the best is to just go to my website and send me an email. I am taking a social media hiatus for the time being. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for holding the space for all of us. And I hopefully will see you all at the next new moon. Yes, we do this every month. So the next one will be in a month from today, I believe. I don't actually know if we have it on the calendar yet, but yes, we usually do them every month. The library can let you know when it's scheduled for.
Yeah, just to jump in, I don't think it's quite on our calendar yet. I imagine we have to run that by our boss first,
Yes.
but yeah, usually we do it every month. So we'll get it on the calendar as soon as possible.
Awesome. All right. Well, does anyone have any other questions or need anything before we close off? No. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Norma.
Thank you so much for being here, Dana. These are always great. Like I said, I'll try and get the next one on the calendar so that you guys can know ASAP. But really, thank you all for being here. And thanks to Dana for a great program as always. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.